Hello, hello, hello. It's Dolly back with Everyday Inspiration with Christy, Crystal, Daisy, Lisa, Jennifer, and myself. And I will have all the ladies' links to their videos listed below. We took the month of July off, but we are back now. And here is a summer inspiration piece for you and us. I snapped this photograph at my brother and sister-in-law's house. We were having a send-off pool party for my nephew that's leaving off to college. All right, off to my layout here. And I am documenting a photograph of my husband with his brothers from many, many, many years ago. All right, I do not know the name of the collections of all my papers. The branding strips were removed. So at one time or another, I must have wanted to use all these papers that I selected from my stash of papers. But I can tell you um, the cuts that I made. All right, this first sheet here, I cut it 4 inches by 11 and a half. That tropical one is 3.5 by 11 and a half. Then there's a blue one, not this one. This one I cut 2 inches by 11 and a half, but I cut another one after this one, which I edited out of this video, and you'll see it. It's a blue and it looks like bubbles. And I cut that one 3 inches by 11 and a half. And so now I'm going to distress each and every one of these papers using my distress tool from Creative Memories, using my fingernails, which you can see right now. And then I decided, you know what? And I just decided this at this moment of putting this layout together. I knew I wanted layers, but I wanted to distress the papers, but I thought, why don't I create like a waves? So that's why I decided, hey, I'm going to use my fingers and I'm going to do the tearing technique. And then, of course, I use my finger again to add a little bit more distressing. So in doing this, as you know, most people would do a wave scene and have your waves at the bottom, right? Because that makes sense. Well, I do it the opposite way, and I'm sure there's been many other ladies that have done it this way. So I'm going to distress, like I say, each and every one of these papers. I'm going to use the tearing technique using my fingers, I should say my fingers, and then I'm going to layer them. And here we are layering after I've distressed all these papers. So I cut 5 sheets of paper. And if you look really close, you can see that. So I have that kind of bluish green paper at the top. Then I have the tropical flower. Then I have that darker blue. Then that lighter blue. And then there's a white there. Now I'm going to add tissue paper. So I wasn't sure. So my first tear of the tissue paper, you can see, is quite large. It's probably 4 inches. But I do tear that paper several times and create like a wave look. And you're going to see that here in a minute, you're going to see that, and you're going to see me take my finger and kind of ruffle up through that so you can kind of see all the tissue paper layers I have. And I think you're going to see that here in a minute. And as far as securing down all those layers, I just used my ATG gun and taped it down. And you can, the trick to your tissue paper is to put your adhesive on your main background paper that you're using. So for me, it's that distressed wood looking paper that I left 12 by 12. All right, now I want to map the photograph, and I have this paper in my stash, and I think that's a pink paisley paper. And I thought I would use my, I want to say cutting tool. What do you call it? Oh my gosh, I've lost my mind. My trimmer. I thought I was going to use my small Creative Memory trimmer, and then I said, oh, wait a minute. I've got all this distressing going on, but I don't want to create like a wave. So to have control with tearing, use a ruler. And you'll still have a distressed look, but it will be a controlled line. Your line can be somewhat crooked. If you like angle your ruler and tear, you'll have a more crooked line. So anyway, that's how I matted my photograph. Then I decided that I need a little bit more of a punch to this layout, or I'm sorry, for my photograph. It needed to stand out a little bit more because the photograph itself was taken many years ago, and so it's kind of dark. And so that's why I backed it with the black. So it stands out or gives that appearance of standing off the background of all those patterns I have going on. All right, originally I thought I was going to keep that photograph in the middle. So that's why you see me doing all the layering over here to the right, which are just stickers. But I end up scooting that layout over to the left. So that's what you see me do right there. I'm like, nah, I think I want this over to the left. So now I'm going to commit and tape it down to the layout there. And then I'm going to add back those same stickers, but I'm going to use some foam adhesive to pop the stickers up, to have them lift off the page to give more dimension because I don't want everything flat. I mean, I do have some layering going on and texture going on by doing all the distressing because your paper curls up, so that gives you some dimension and texture. And then the fact that I have tissue paper, which is another type of texture to the layout. And you're going to really see those layers and textures at the end. So don't leave my channel. Watch all the way to the end, and I have close-ups. So I have close-up still shots at the end. All right, my title is nothing unusual. It's going to say Beach Boys, but in the beginning I put out Beach Boy, but I do catch my mistake and change that. I'm using these navy blue foam alpha letters that I picked up from Hobby Lobby's, and it's Hobby Lobby's brand name, which is Paper Studios. Anyway, I think that's Hobby Lobby's brand name, but anyway, it is Paper Studios. I decided the beach at the time I was putting this layout. I didn't like the beach, the beach. I didn't like the navy blue word beach. I thought it blended. It didn't stand out, but honestly, it looked really good. But I switch it out to these white chipboard alphas that have a gold outline trim in the middle. That makes sense. There's a gold trim in the middle of each of those alphas, and that's going to stay. So in essence, I think maybe, I don't know, you guys tell me, do you think the white alpha, the white and gold alpha look better, or the beach? But anyway, it's going to stay the way it's at. All right, I bring in that pineapple because I was just determined to use the pineapple on this layout since it's a summer beachy layout. All right, and I add some sequence right here by the word Beach Boys. Then I add it to the upper right hand of the photograph. Then at the end too, you want to see my close-ups. I decided to add splatters. I felt like I needed something over there by the Beach Boys. So there's the splatters. So I've got blue and yellow and white. But learn from my mistake. When you are adding splatters to tissue paper, because it's so thin, it spreads out. In the end, it still looks good, but just know that your splatters are going to spread out. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.